I'm Brent Leary.
Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM players. Imagine that. Uh,
And you have Miles Garrett.
yeah, yes, so we do have Miles Garrett. But anyway, we also have Chicago because it is Salesforce Connections 2026 edition.
That is
I'm
amazing.
here, you're here virtually.
hmm I went to a few of those. I remember the first one was 2013 or 14. It was right after they acquired Exact Target because this is Exact Target's actual conference
Yes,
extended.
it has grown into what it is now. Quite honestly, this morning when we walked past the registration lines,
Yeah.
they had some huge registration lines this morning. Our friend Dina Apostolo was actually kind of a victim of that because she had to go and pick up her badge today, and there was a big long line waiting for her. It's pretty impressive how many people are actually here. So
Well, I know that they've had as many as that I remember. And this the last number I actually remember was 10,000.
I don't know
That
what it is yet. We'll try to figure out how many people are here,
okay.
but it is a watch party. It's an opening keynote, and you know what that means. We're watching it, and it's not just us watching it. We bring our team in, our folks, our crew, or at least partially part of the crew,
No,
and of course,
they're all our friends, and that's all that
they are
matters.
all our friends. One of our main go-tos is well, you're the one that gave him his nickname.
It's okay. You can still say it.
It's John Reed, aka the Brohammer.
All right, here we go, guys. Here
Yes,
we go.
and are we ready to? Okay,
We're gonna give them a
okay. We're giving it. We're in the what they call the boardroom here. They gave us a special room to do our watch party for Connections.
Cool.
So in the room with me, although we're going to be in our separate little boxes here, is the one and only Rebecca Wetteman, also known as Patrick's mom.
Hey, everybody.
Perfect.
And notice the greenery behind you too.
Wow. Each of you had your own plant. That's beautiful.
Hey, you got to have some plants, some greenage when you're doing these watch parties.
That's beautiful.
All right, so we are like in countdown mode until they get started here. Matter of fact, we could even do a little sneak peek to see. Uh, oh, you look at this
Ooh,
the
look at that guy
soccer
go.
shoe game. Yeah, look at that. They got the soccer shoe game going. So they're doing the pre-game or the pre-show, and we also have a bit of a pre-show too. Because let me kind of set the tone. We'll get back to you a little later on, buddy. So this is what we're doing. We're getting ready to kickstart this off. But before we do, we have a post game, and it's kind of interesting because our post game guest, Marty Kine, he's actually in the room with us right now. He's not on camera. He's just kind of observing. I think he's going to try to intimidate us into not saying.
That's it.
We'll see if that works. But that is coming up directly after the keynote. And then after that, I'm going to be spending a few good minutes with Amber Armstrong, who's the CMO of applications here, and Caleb Bryant, who I know he's the executive on the Commerce Cloud side. So I'm going to be spending a few good minutes with each of those. You may even see a Dina Apostolo appearance on one of them.
I hope that happens.
We'll check that out. So, all right, to get everything set, I asked everybody to give me their top 3 bullet points for things that they are looking to be addressed in this opening keynote. So I'm just splashing up what the Brohammer says. Brohammer, fill in the details on why you want to see what you have here.
Yeah, sorry I didn't follow your directions and gave you 4.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
Yeah.
I think you all did.
Yeah. Well, let's do them real fast and see, because keynotes, you never know what you're going to get. But there was some headless messaging that went down at TDX that caused, I think, a lot of debate and questions, and so it'd be interesting to see how and if they talk about headless. I think it's an important conversation, but it's also a buzzwordy one. We're also looking to see if we can reinvigorate marketing and commerce a bit, because those weren't the high points of Salesforce's recent strong earnings call. Now, I'm not someone who who takes my cues from the earnings, but I do like to see the energy from the teams and the customers. And are we going to see customer results, or are we going to see a lot of agent force futures? Because I think a lot of vendors are really losing a little bit of confidence in their current value they're delivering, and I think that's a shame. So I'd love to see some customers kicking butt and showing results. And finally, will agent force enable human creativity or replace it? I think it's a potent, interesting question. And from the sessions, I was looking for a little more on the creativity and community side than I saw. So I'd like to see what kind of balance we strike, because isn't that ultimately what we're trying to achieve?
Absolutely. And by the way, of course, you think it's a good question. You're the one that came up with it, man. Come on, you gave it to me. So there it is.
Well, I don't know I don't know what to say to that.
We'll move on. Shout out to Christopher Gaither. Thanks.
Hey, Christopher.
For joining us on a few of these things. So
Yes, one of these days we've got to meet this guy.
Absolutely. And please let her rip with the comments. And
he will.
You know, so we love that to hear from you.
He is.
Right.
He's a hammer.
He's a Brohammer.
No, he's not a Brohammer. He's
just
a hammer.
Anyway, moving on. Rebecca, I think she got these actually from Patrick, but we'll see. But Rebecca says she has 4 things that you guys all, I think, skipped the 3 bullet point and went right to the 4. But Rebecca, let her rip on this one.
Well, you know, Patrick's really the brains behind the operation. But yeah, I agree with John. Seeing real results, you know, it's great to hear the kind of aspirational, visionary stories, but to hear what customers are actually doing. I think the reality is we need to know about how things have advanced since last year, right? Last year we heard about the sort of no reply email. What's the next step? What's the vision for agentic commerce? What are they putting out there from a data cloud perspective around sort of the governance, the guardrails, the controls? And I would say it's not just guardrails, it's like the 50-foot concrete fences we need for AI, for people to be comfortable sort of letting AI go autonomous. But I think we also have to look at, to John's point about earnings, what's the compelling case for legacy or heritage marketing cloud customers, whether it's ExactTarget or Pardot or whatever it is, to move to the new marketing cloud. And that's a compelling case that I think needs to be made more strongly.
Awesome. Okay, moving over to the venerable Paul Greenberg.
So similar to John, I'm really interested in hearing what they've got to say, especially with at least the announced likely acquisition of Contentful, and what it's not only just what they're saying about headless, but does anybody actually fundamentally care about it despite their acquisition is one thing. The second thing was, and I'm going to skip to the third actually right away because it aligns with everybody here. You know, future thinking's nice. Use cases that was important back in the day, but that's now a back in the day. And now we're looking for actual case studies, things that customers who have something that they've done with it that are really valuable to them, and it actually works. And finally, you know, blocking and tackling doesn't go away just because you have AI, right? I mean, AI helps you with it maybe, but the alignment of sales and marketing has been an ongoing thing for a decade now, and it's got plenty of headway and steam, and it's been always there. Question is, how's that work in the world of agentic AI? And, you know, and Salesforce has a lot at stake with that particular one, because even though they had a badly named product at the time, it was called Salesforce Engagement. And it was actually the alignment of sales and marketing based on Pardot. And it was part of the Sales Cloud a few years ago. And it was the first one to market. And it was announced at Connections, in fact, about, I don't know, must have been 5-6 years ago. And then, you know, now Oracle's come forward with a really advanced version of the alignment of sales and marketing that actually is fully functional. How's Salesforce going to respond to that? Because regardless of any of this, the blocking and tackling is still important.
Cool. By the way, Keith Kirkpatrick is going to be in the room and commenting. And I think I also got Cheryl Kingstone.
Woo!
So we don't have our usual correspondent, Liz Miller, but we do have Keith Kirkpatrick and Cheryl Kingstone, the K group, Kirkpatrick and Kingstone.
K2.
K2. All right, so I put my thoughts in, and my main question I want to address is, will Aaron Donald come out of retirement to play with Myles Garrett for the? Oh, okay, I guess I should be not
That is some line.
I'll get to my real one here. Is okay. There's still a lot. I'm sticking to the first one. I'm looking for being able to generally have some content in here that responds to there's a lot of gloom and doom, and there's still a lot of AI anxiety just at the very high levels, the general levels that I think riffles right through the whole organization. And so I'm looking to see how they answer or at least address some of that kind of stuff at a high level, how that they're able to connect that to some of the detailed and more featured kind of stuff that goes on at these keynotes. Because once again, this is an opening keynote. They're going to have the most attention on this keynote for anything in the event. And I think it's important for them to address, while they address some of the more specific things to the platform, how do those things link up and address the big concerns that a lot of the customers have around AI and what it's doing to going to do to their organization. So that is my main thing. And also, Aaron Donald, please come back. We need you.
And you know what, Brent? Here's my deal. If the Salesforce on stage directly addresses Aaron Donald coming back to the Rams, I will forgive them for every other answer being bad, right? But they have to directly address that question.
Okay, and our buddy Even Taylor is here, but not sure. Oh, you're gonna Even you always add a lot.
Yes,
so anything you want to say or comment on, we definitely welcome it. So, and anybody else out there, we do the same. I'm keeping an eye on. Why am I not? Oh, remove that. Oh, StreamYard did some interesting. So they're still doing they're a little behind. So because it's right around 10 o'clock. Little after 10. So do you guys want to hear what they're saying, or do you want to wait until the real keynote starts?
I mean, I don't care.
I prefer to hold off and banter.
Okay. What do you got, Brohammer?
Let's banter. I mean,
let's
hear the king of headless talk about headless for a minute.
Who's king of headless?
Well, Paul, you
used to have a show called Talk.
Yeah, but I'm not king of headless.
Well,
I don't look.
You did have a show called Headless, Paul.
I don't. Yeah, but that's a year. That was over a year ago.
Oh well, whatever.
Shashi is now king of headless. That's so. And anyway, it was kind of a joke. So look. I mean, it's not. I don't have anything against the concept of headless. It's just. And the acquisition of Contentful, I will say, came. Or again, it's not finalized, but the announced potential acquisition of Contentful came as a surprise to me. Not one I particularly expected, especially Salesforce trumpeting headless 360. But the reality is it the most important thing that we're addressing now? I don't think so. I think there's value to it, but I don't find it to be a primary concern, I guess. Again, should they address it? Sure. They announced an acquisition that does it, and they've been talking about Headless 360 for quite a bit. Is it something that's valuable to customers? Can be. And if I'm looking at it strictly on the Contentful side, Contentful actually does add a piece of that part of the platform that Salesforce doesn't have. Right. So on the whole, it's golden.
You want me to tell you what's going on? Because I found out about this last night at the reception.
Yes.
The lady that just put the gold hoodie, I met her for the first time. I think her name is Gilda. And she was telling me that this young man that just got the gold hoodie, his story is around his mom was determined she had cancer and had a short time to live. And he created some Agentforce app that actually literally extended her life a couple of months by some kind of information. And so he helped his mom, but they started pushing this app out to more people. And apparently it impacted multiple people and help multiple people extend their life a little bit.
Wow.
And so they literally found out about this story like a week ago. And because of the young lady, she kind of made sure it made its way through the company. And they said, this is the perfect time to give this guy a gold hoodie to talk about what he did and why he did it and how it's not only impacted his mother, but others and will impact others going forward. So I'm glad I saw that little bit of it because she told me that was going to happen before the keynote.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. They're getting started. You want to hear Matthew McConaughey's lead in? All right.
You can put it on, but it's not Idris Elba.
Okay. All right. I'm putting the sound on.
Not measured after the fact, moved in the moment. This builds ROI, not reactive, proactive. Marketers and agents working together. Agents learning, reasoning, acting, adjusting in real time. This is personalization on a whole new level. And acquisition, the trifecta. The right audience, the right offer, the right time. This is not marketing as distribution. This is marketing intelligence at scale. Powered by data. Connected by workflow. Activated by agents. Human being, agent duty. This is agentic marketing.
Oh, that was a classic ending there.
Please welcome President and Chief Marketing Officer, Salesforce, Patrick Stokes.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Connections 2026. Holy cow. What a city you have here. This place is beautiful. Welcome to Chicago. I mean, I can't believe it. The weather, it's not too hot. It's not too cold. I feel like Goldilocks, the buildings, the river, the lake. You know, I live in New York, but if I had to live any other place, I think I would live right here in Chicago. It's a really incredible city.
What I would say
now, you're going to be mad in a second. Now that I've said a couple nice things about Chicago, I want everybody to say something with me. It's just 3 words. It's really easy. You ready? Knicks in 6. You want to try it together? No? No? All right. Fair enough.
I'm with him.
You might
All right,
get
we got a big day for you here today. And of course, we got to start the way that we always do, and that is thanking you. Thank you to all of our customers. This room looks so great with all of our customers, our partners, our employees that are here with us today. We've got our trailblazers. I always love seeing our trailblazers over here, our admins, developers, and architects. Thank you all for being with us. We know that your time is valuable, and we really appreciate and don't take it for granted that you've chosen to come and spend it with us this morning. So thanks so much for that. Now, we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of technology to talk about, a lot of change, a lot of technology to show you. And so I don't think there's ever been a better time to just take a step back, slow down for a second, and reflect on our core values. Not just Salesforce's core values, but all of your values as part of the Salesforce ecosystem, these values of trust, customer success, innovation, equality, and sustainability. You know, these are built into the very way that we run Salesforce, the way that we build our software, the way that we interact with all of you, our amazing customers. In fact, it's built into the very way that we operate the business. You know, when Mark and Parker started Salesforce 27 years ago from a small little apartment, actually like the closet of a small little apartment in San Francisco, they did it with this idea. They called it the 1-1-1 model, this idea that business can be the greatest
why would
platform
anyone
for change,
start
where we give back
in the
1%
closet?
of our time, our equity, and our product into the local community.
Wow.
And in that time, over
John
27
Farrar
years,
literally said, "Bless you,
our ecosystem
Rebecca,"
in
because he
Salesforce
heard
has
you.
raised
Yeah.
over almost $1 billion.
That's pretty
which is really
good.
an incredible
Shout
number
out to
when you
John
think
on
about it.
that
But what's so inspiring and I think so important right now is about 1/3 of all of that has been given back to local schools, local reskilling programs,
They're
which I think
finally
is just
starting with their
super
philanthropy
important
again,
right
which
now.
I
We're all
haven't
learning
heard for a
this
while.
new technology as we go. We're all learning how
We're
it's
gonna hit $1
changing
billion
and
pretty
impacting
soon
our
on that.
roles and how we're going to work differently in the future.
Right
And
with
if you're
them
like
on this
me,
part.
you might have some young kids and you're thinking a lot about what is it going to mean for them as they come up into
It's been a long time since
into the
they've
workforce
led
as
with
well.
it.
So I think it's never been more important to be giving back to our local schools. Now, it can be hard to run a company the size that we do while having all of this impact, but we think that you can do well while doing good at the same
Let us
time. And
know
that
what you
evidence
think.
is right
Lots of
there
comments,
on this
please.
slide, this incredible growth
Right back at
trajectory
you,
that
John.
we've been on. But
Yeah,
that word,
John, we're gonna have
"we"
to have
there
you
is
on the
really
show
important. We're
sometime
proud
soon.
of this, of course, but it's
Been a
really
while.
because of all of you. It's because of our customers that we've been able to grow the way that we do.
What, Astro?
Now, one of the coolest things I
she
think
talking about
about
Astro?
Salesforce, and
Yeah,
I've been
I
here
think so.
a pretty long time,
A
about
little
15
AI.
years, maybe a
Little
little
AI
over 15
person.
years. One of the things that has always kind of kept me motivated is that our mission has been the same the entire time. It is a durable mission. It doesn't matter what's happening in the world. It doesn't matter what's happening with technology, and there is a lot happening right now. But our mission has always been the same. Our mission is to help you all, our customers, connect with your customers in a whole new way. That's what we're constantly trying to do. Every piece of technology, every new feature, new product that you see from us, it's really just trying to do that, to try to help you connect with your customers in a new way. And I think you'll see that today as we move forward. Now, we've been doing this over 27 years with, of course, our Customer 360 platform. This is our platform of best-in-class applications like Agentforce Sales, Agentforce Service, marketing. You're going to hear a lot about marketing today, commerce, and of course, it's all built on this unified platform, bringing together your data, bringing together your AI models, all of your industry customization sitting on top. It's a trusted platform. You've trusted it for 27 years. It's open, truly headless now. If you've been following our headless announcements, really an amazing platform for connecting with your customers. Now, I want to talk a little bit about marketers, and not a little bit, actually. We want to spend more or less the rest of the day talking about marketers.
Well, one thing I'm glad to hear
I'm
so
a marketer.
far,
You heard on the speaker there in my
tying
introduction.
together
I'm a
history
marketer.
to the present,
And what I think is so interesting about
retain a
marketers is
corporate narrative, and that
we
doesn't
wake up
happen
every single day
with
and
most
have
of these
ideas.
companies.
Sometimes a
So
lot
that's
of ideas.
that's
Sometimes
a
too
good
many
sign.
ideas.
Also,
Good ideas.
How could I not
sometimes
like
great
someone who
ideas?
wants to mix
Sometimes
and
really
six?
stupid ideas. I have a lot of those ideas. And the problem with those ideas is not the stupid ideas. That's not actually the problem. The problem is that we can't move fast enough. The problem is that I can't take my good ideas and get them out there fast enough. And my bad ideas, I can't find out. I can't realize that they're bad ideas fast enough, right? That's the whole key, is ship everything, figure out what works, figure out what doesn't work. That's really how marketers want to work. But it's tough. We're being crushed. We're being stuck by all of these things. We've got limited resources. Everybody feels that. We've got too many approvals because in a lot of cases, the cost of failure is just a little bit too high. It's too high to really enable all of this creativity that we'd like to bring into our organizations. We've got siloed data. We might have to work a little bit too much with IT to get things done. Just dependencies. Of course, we all love working with them, but just these dependencies, it all adds up, and it's all stopping that creativity that we all want to achieve as marketers. And so we asked ourselves, what if that wasn't true? What if we were free to just make? What if we were free to just make stuff, to be creative, to ship those ideas, to get them out faster than ever before? What would we be able to do? Well, we think that we can do this. We think that there is an amazing opportunity sitting right in front of us. We think that this new technology, this new AI intelligence in the form of AI agents, we think that it is going to create an opportunity to multiply all of your impact, to multiply all of your creativity if deployed right. And we're going to show you what all of that looks like today. Now at Salesforce, we've been doing this. We've been doing this for the better part of 18 months, maybe 2 years. We've been becoming what we call an agentic enterprise. And this is this idea, you may have heard of it from us before already. This is this idea of we're looking across our entire business and we're trying to find ways to take our humans and put them together with agents to multiply their impact. Humans and agents working together to drive more success, to drive more creativity. That's ultimately what we're trying to do. And I want to tell you 3 quick stories of my own time on this. You know, I'm a CMO of Salesforce. We're a big company. We're largely a B2B company. We're going to talk about quite a few B2C examples today as well. But for the moment, I want to tell you what this looks like inside of Salesforce. So the first thing is Salesforce, our number one marketing channel, like many B2B companies, is our website. That is the most important channel. People come to our website from search, or they come from an ad. They're looking for something. They have some sort of intent. Maybe they have a problem and they're looking for an answer. Maybe they are interested in a product and they want to learn more about it. Maybe they already know quite a bit about the product and they're ready to buy it. Well, capturing that intent and converting it is something that we've all been trying to do and working on and optimizing for as marketers for the better part of 25 years. But it's complicated on a website. You've got to navigate. You've got to get them to the right page.
I've never been a total believer in the idea.
Right form in front of them. That form has to have
eat your own dog,
minimal friction so that they can actually sign up and you can kind of capture that lead. But then even that lead, it's not fully qualified yet. You're probably going to send it off to a human being who's going to try to qualify that lead. And we said, what if we could just
the Brohammer completely because it's so long.
And now we can. We went out and we found this company Qualified. They are now part of Salesforce. You're going to hear a lot from Qualified today. And we put this on our website. We've got this new agent now on our website called Piper. And what Piper does is as you visit our website, we capture that intent. We start talking, but we do more than just create a lead. We qualify it as well. So when the salesperson
got a chance to talk to
know what they're looking for.
Craig Swinford yesterday about coming back
incredible. We've
after
been
the
converting 68%
acquisition of Qualified
conversions into.
I had no idea they've been on since 2013.
Pipeline that goes into
it's been that long since they've been away. Because remember
on our website. The really cool part, which you'll see later, is
Keaton was the initial one they sold to Salesforce.
We put this together.
They stuck around and
days, and it wasn't just an IT project. It was IT working.
That got bought by somebody, and then they started Qualified
because
and
it's really
they're back.
The full pipeline to pipeline. I didn't do that on purpose. It just came out. Second, now we're going to talk about something really sexy, the most modern marketing channel in the world, our 1-800 number. Now you laugh.
No, actually, nobody did laugh.
You all have one too. You all have a number on your website, and people call it again sometimes to get help. Sometimes
I do forget about
because they
phone
want
numbers
to buy.
like that.
And so we said, this 1-800 number that we have right now, in the way all of yours works, is there's probably an IVR system. You press certain numbers, and then if you're lucky, you get to a human being. But the human beings can't be there all the time because there's only so many hours in a day. And we said, what if we could put Agentforce up there? What if you could call and just talk to Agentforce and get the help that you need, or even get connected to a seller?
You realize how big an effort
put this up.
They have to make this convincing
handling 100% of our calls.
Because
and it has
everyone,
been
when they say comments like
but
that,
again, marketing
what if you could just talk to Agentforce? It's like, what if you could just talk to a chat
hope
bot?
It's all going to work out.
Right? I mean, it's
thinking
the
about it
same
every day,
argument.
it, looking
it may
at
be
how
much
it's
better,
communicating
but
with
it
your
doesn't
customers.
read
It's really
that
becoming
way. And
this kind of brand.
And ultimately,
channel
when
now,
you're calling those
this
numbers, you
customer
do want to
experience
talk to a
layer
human,
that
regardless of
traditionally
how
we've
many
been able to
hours
do.
there are
The
in a
humans
day.
got it, but now there's
It's just
hang on, Paul. I'm
going to
call
like on our
Agentforce.
website. We have to think about that through the customer experience.
Say hi for me.
Now, the third leg of
I'm sure
marketing for us, and
Agentforce
this is
has
one
a
that I
rebuttal
think
to
you'll
your
all be
argument.
a little bit more
Even it
familiar
says this
with
is
because we're at
amazing.
one today.
Even to tell us
is
why
our
you say that, I think I know, but I want you to tell.
Salesforce. If you see me a lot,
So
my
take on that is that you have to help people
as we've been
understand
building
how
out
this
all these events,
generation
we
of
have been
agents
experimenting
and
with
bots
new
are
experiences
superior to
for
what
you all. You've
the
seen
kind of
maybe
bots that we
Agentforce in our
have dealt with
Dreamforce
in the
app. Maybe
past,
you've seen
or
it
it
in the
doesn't
Connections
land.
app. You'll see it coming up for
And
some of
I
our
just
other
interacted
events.
with
But we
another
had this
dumb bot on a
idea,
vendor's
or
website.
more specifically,
last
one of our
night, and
partners
so
had this idea. We said, what if we
those bots are
could bring this
so
together to run
like
Bottle
useless
Rock
and
Festival?
so
Now,
narrow
Bottle Rock is this
focused that
amazing
it just
festival out in Napa Valley.
it
Bunch
makes
of
you
amazing
like
bands.
down on the
It's kinda
whole
like
concept.
your
And in theory, the
Lollapalooza,
idea
although I think
of
maybe
giving
for
attention when
adults.
humans are asleep is great,
Although
but
I
you
don't
have
know
to
what
say
Lollapalooza is.
how it's different.
15-year-old Patrick was psyched about Lollapalooza. And this is now handling over 85% of the inquiries. We built this in just a few weeks. This is
exactly.
agent called Melody, built on Agentforce.
To your point, John,
so
but see, that's the thing.
Every single Bottle Rock
it's
attendee basically got.
It's not so much the concept
right
should or shouldn't work. I mean, maybe it works.
Really incredible.
But the reality is, he's literally putting it in terms that remind everybody in that audience of bots.
They're both
right, that they've and interference with humans and the things that you make a call. You want to talk to a person.
Live Nation.
That's why you to make
maybe
the
you could
call.
join me for just
I'm
a
not
second.
interested. I can go online to find out what the agent
We're
force
going to Lollapalooza? When is Lollapalooza?
agent could tell me.
Last weekend of July.
I don't
July.
I don't dislike it, but I don't like it. I don't like the way they're presenting it at all.
Identifying a voice
So
channel.
pretty darn quickly, almost
still-
responsibly.
It's wrong.
There wasn't like
and not only that,
a strong
again,
product,
dealing with
requirements
people.
document. It's just kind of
The whole idea of
an
making
idea
this
and a dream.
this
How
conversation
do you do it?
successful is when people say, "Oh, I get that," and what they get is, "Oh, yeah, bots in the way. Now we have agents in the way of people."
For a lot more than the music.
When I make a call, I want something solved, and I want it solved with as little friction as possible.
But you know what the
That
problem
means
is.
talking to something that's not a person. If they can help me get my stuff done, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, but they usually can't even help you present your understand your conversation. That's the history of these.
Well,
things,
that might be the issue, but the issue to me is not talking to a bot. The issue is I just want something that helps me get what I need done right away with as little friction as possible.
I mean, to me, if I go to a call, it's the last resort already. At that point,
that's true. That it's the last resort.
I'll tell you though, Paul, I have talked to Agent Force customers that say, we only have people in our contact center from 9 to 5.
Amazing.
So giving
What
people
would
an
you say
agent
your
between
biggest
5 and
surprise or maybe
midnight
shock
means
was
that at
through the
least
build
we're
process and then ultimately
we're
getting
having
live?
some sort of interaction with that customer,
and
because
again,
otherwise they'd have no option.
Yeah.
Right. But see, that would be also about some clarity with the customers, because there's so much bait and switch right now of impersonating humans and making it seem like you're interacting with a human when you're not. And agents are getting better and better at posing as humans in that sounds right. So you say to a customer, look, the call center's closed, but you can talk to a computerized agent and it may be able to solve some of your problems.
Right.
And let the customer make that decision at that point, because it will solve some of your problems, but it will also not be able to solve some of your other problems.
Right.
And that could end up being more frustrating than not calling at all.
Yep.
So I think a lot of this is about managing expectations and designing your use case properly, rather than saying, oh, a bot's good at this or that. It's managing expectations all the way around.
Shout out Leland there for the comment.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Paul.
No, he's right. Leland's right about what he's saying, except that they're historically entirely inadequate and frustrating, even more frustrating. The question is the quality of the agent itself. At least could maybe solve some of that. But right now, the way it's presented makes me think just
I think the key here,
didn't tell me anything that could give me any concept of the difference in quality of and responsiveness.
The age of marketing.
I like what Even has said. She got excited, but then found out it was trying to switch over to agents from the 800.
Go back.
Right, which is exactly what I'm talking about, right? That you want to be really clear on
for the better part of 20
when
or
you're
25
dealing
years,
with
and you
agents
kinda
versus humans.
know how to optimize.
You know,
and that's really all we've
the
been
other
doing.
the other big distinction is: are you seeking knowledge or you want to take action?
It's time to start
Because
thinking
agents are getting better at giving you the right knowledge. So if you're calling, to take the cable example in the chat, if you're trying to figure out, what happened to the golf channel on, why did it move? And it can tell you that information with better context than past bots have ever had access to, which is great. But if you then want to change your subscription from that's a different confidence level in terms of not only validating your identity, but taking an action on your behalf. And that's where we need a lot more proof points that we can actually do those things and do those things safely.
And if you've ever really
changing your cable bill is one thing.
Bouncing ideas
making a
off
change
of it,
to your
bouncing
healthcare
if it,
plan
once
is
it gets
totally
connected
different
in your
animal.
systems and it can start pulling data down, you start to see this incredible experience of an explosion of creativity. You can move faster than you ever have.
You know what? We're
before. And this is how
almost
we think
25 minutes
it is
into
going
this
to
keynote,
multiply
and I
you.
don't
We
know
think
that
it is
I've
going
heard
to
anything about new
multiply
products
your
yet.
impact. And you're going to see a tremendous amount of technology today
Except
from
for
our
now.
new marketing goals. agent to
there you
our
go.
Content agent. You're going to see qualified and Piper, Agent Force
Pretty
coworker,
good.
just a huge amount of
Yeah,
technology
we planned that.
you probably have not seen yet from Salesforce.
He is talking about
Really
creativity a
cool.
lot, so I
Of course,
gotta
all of this
take
technology
my
Yeah.
notes on that one.
on our unified.
I mean, there's the
platform
bigger
with your
question,
trust
of course,
layer
the
and
more
AI
existential
models at the
version
bottom,
there,
of course,
which is,
open
can
models,
agents
open
really
data,
create?
your customer 360
That's
applications?
a bigger
and then
question, though.
your surface
I'm
area,
looking to see if
Slack,
there's
headless,
there's the
Agent
system of
Force,
context.
Tableau, sitting on top.
Beneath the system.
So we have a lot to unpack for you here this morning. And to get us started, I want to look at our chapters here. We are going to walk through the age of marketing makers. We're going to walk through always on creativity, self-optimizing campaigns, and then we're going to see Qualified and Piper working on autonomous pipe gen. And to get us started, I am excited to welcome our new VP, Janani. Janani, welcome.
Thank you, Patrick. Hello, marketers. So we all love a good insight, don't we?
I don't think
In fact,
I've spoken
there
with
is
her
one
before.
right up there on
She
the
said
slide.
new VP.
73% of marketers don't get the data support they need. There's just way too many dashboards, way too many metric definitions, and not enough data analysts to make sense of all of that. We're saying that in the age of marketing makers, that is not going to be a problem anymore. We envision that you will be empowered to unlock new creative opportunities, and you will be able to find answers to questions you were never able to do so by
Even I
yourself
want you to do
before.
something.
I'm on it,
How
Bethana.
are we
I'll
gonna do
report
it?
back.
Well, imagine that you have access to an always-on creative partner, an always-on coworker that deeply knows you, understands your business, knows what metrics you care about, and never loses context and always know where to look. Yes, it sounds dreamy. And honey, if you're watching, take notes. But you know what? This is what our agents can offer you. And I'm so excited and thrilled to talk more about two of those agents.
First of all.
Agent
No,
Force
it's
Coworker,
nothing to do with
which
age
we
at all.
announced in beta recently. And think about it as a data analyst, a marketing strategist, a data engineer, all rolled into one. And secondly, Slackbot, which is
My biggest
available
problem
in GA
so
today.
far, I like the
And I may be biased,
beginning
it's
with
one of
the
my
continuation of the
personal
narrative.
favorite agents.
My
but we
biggest
have proof
problem
in
so
numbers.
far is this
The highest adopters
blaming
at
creativity
at
and
Salesforce
ultimately
of
talking about
Slackbot have
uncluttering
saved up to
clutter.
20 hours per week. All right, so enough slideware for the day. Why don't we see both of these agents come together in action in a demo? I want to give a round of applause for our demo drivers of today, Gus and Ashley.
Yeah, I haven't heard Gus a name for Gus in a while. I like that
here's the
name too,
context.
Gus.
You are walking into an executive review,
Think of,
and your CMO is
Psych.
asking you a very important
Psych.
question. Why are my marketing-driven pipe numbers, the MDP numbers, down this quarter by 18%? Now, for folks that are external to Salesforce, MDP is a very critical measure of marketing contribution here at Salesforce. So this is not a small question. So now you are calling in your experts, and they're opening up 5 different tabs. There's Google Analytics on one tab. There's LinkedIn Campaign Manager, a Google spreadsheet that someone built 6 months ago, and also all of those Slack threads where all of this was discussed in a team discussion last week. So the data was always there, right? That was not the problem. The problem was to arrive at answers, and not any answer, one that would hold when your data-savvy CMO starts asking the second question, the third, and knowing Patrick probably.
You know what? I'm
the fourth
seeing
as well.
people are really
So
paying
before you
attention.
know it,
Nobody's
it is
looking
a
down on their
2-3
phones
week
enough.
project.
Everybody's actually looking up.
And by the time your team of
Except one
experts have come
person.
up with the root cause and
Well,
the
there's Craig
recommendations,
Swinburne.
half the quarter's passed.
Speak of the devil.
This is the problem that we are setting out to solve for in this demo. We're going to empower you
That says
as
something.
marketers to be able to access
All
all of
eyes
the
are up
data
and
that is
looking.
scattered in silos, convert the data into insights, insights into action in a moment where it still matters. So we're going to start with unified intelligence. What you're looking at is a unified intelligence dashboard. So remember all of those 5 tabs we opened up? The Google Analytics, LinkedIn Campaign Manager, the spreadsheet, all of them now live under one roof. Now, there is something more important that's happening than bringing all of this into a single view. Now, any business metric that your organization cares about, MDP, for instance, you can codify that metric into the semantic layer that is powering up the dashboard. So what do I mean by codify into the semantic layer? Well, that only means that it's a fancy way of saying we have a shared data dictionary, we have a shared business context and an understanding of what that metric means. So every team, whether it is your paid media team or demand gen team, all operates out of that one single definition. And it is important because I can set that context once, and from there on, everyone and any agent accesses it and interprets it in exactly the same way. So keep this concept in mind because we're going to get to that in the demo in a little bit. All right. Now, even with all of this, we know that what has happened, but we don't know why. And we also, more importantly, do not know what to do next. So let's meet Agent First Coworker. Now, setting this up is a breeze. It is not an IT project. You can simply turn this on. It is included in your org, and you can use your flex credits to deploy Coworker. And once you've turned it on, it has access to all the Salesforce data in the ecosystem that it is grounded in. So let me take her for a spin.
So the context they're describing now is key because this is how you get
question that my
to quote
CMO
unquote
asked me.
more
Our marketing-driven pipe numbers are down.
intelligent
Why?
or more effective
Now take a note of
interaction
what I
with
did
your
not do here. I did not
with your
define
bots, whether
what
they're service
MVP or
bots or
marketing-driven pipe was.
you
This
know
is not an industry
so-called
terminology.
teammates or
So
whatever
how
you
does
want
it
to call
know?
them.
Remember, we had set the
The only thing
definition
I
of
would
MVP
say
in the
is that
semantic layer.
when you say
This
never lose
agent
context, you have
is
to be
grounded
careful
in that
because
very information. So
these
it
are
speaks the language
probabilistic
of my
systems
business
and part
even
of
before
using
I've
them
hit
is
enter on the
understanding that
screen.
they do lose context sometimes, and
So
you have to
let's
help
take a look
customers
here.
understand what to do when that happens. But overall, this is the kind of stuff that helps you to
Right, looks like
understand
it is
why
seeing campaign
they're
performance,
excited
pipeline
about
opportunity
this new
data, also the
generation
relevant Slack discussions, which is
of
good.
assistants and bots and agents.
It's looking at the conversion rates and
I was
how it
trying
has
to pop
dropped
up a
from Q1
comment
to Q2
that
because we explicitly mentioned that there was a
Cheryl
decline
Kingstone left,
in
but it
Q2.
doesn't really look good. She couldn't comment for some reason. She just says self-optimizing
And
campaigns
here
sound
is a
compelling,
good
but
summary of the
optimization
rationale.
without
So it seems that
creative
it is not
intelligence
channel
is just
specific, right?
faster
It looks
mediocrity.
like it is pretty much across the board.
Right.
And every time we see a broad drop like that, it is indicative of something going on top of the funnel. It also gives
making
me a few
campaigns a
tactical
lot
reasons as to
easier
why
to
that could
manage
be the case.
is always
So I
huge.
want to also highlight the specificity
that's
here
not
of the
what
rationale it
marketers
has
love
brought
to
me
do.
up, right? It is very tactical and extremely actionable too. All right, so let's ask another follow-up questions. Now, the job is not to just know the why, right? The job is to fix it. And here's a real-world pressure. Finance called. And I've been asked to cut 15% of my marketing budget, campaign budget for the rest of the quarter.
I do have sort of a...
So I've asked Coworker, what are the programs I should
there's
cut?
sort of a discontinuity, though, because here, I mean,
it's building off of the
to your point, John, this is actually important in terms of exactly as you stated. The one thing I don't see what this is to do with, and it kind of partly goes to Cheryl's point, which is what this has to do with marketing makers.
Coworker builds its case.
People who are creating with
okay, so looks
agents.
Like it is giving me some programs.
Right now, I'm seeing
right? So these
ways
are
to look at measurement
and lowest funnel,
which is fine, necessary. I'm just not sure how it follows their theme
because this is essentially what is keeping the program up and running the pipe. Again, what I love about this recommendation is how specific, how surgical it is in its precision, right? And this is the kind of recommendation you can expect from a team of marketing experts and strategists.
Effectively
and they would have
pulling
taken
results
a couple of weeks to
taking
arrive
a look
at that.
It and looking at some of the reasons for
2-3 minute
success or failure and so on. And that itself is a big positive.
This is pretty darn awesome.
But
well done, Coworker.
It's completely discontinuous with the theme of their entire
Okay, now I want to switch gears a little bit here. Now, my team is not always on Salesforce surfaces, right? Everything you saw, Coworker is on a Lightning interface. My team is on Slack. And this is where the work happens. This is where win-loss threats get discussed. This is where we hear from the field what our customers are actually saying. So it's a very powerful place to be, a lot of context to have. So I'm going to ask Slackbot that
you're going to hear a lot about Slack.
Give me
Slack is
an executive summary of
information.
what's working, what's not, and
right
what
now.
to do next. And
with all the information that's in Slack,
while
it should be on fire because that's a treasure chest of information that you just kind of gets lost. But now it's all part of this whole metadata and that Slack information.
Some people jump off
those conversations
for adrenaline rush. I do like
there's a lot of hidden jewels in there
in front of large audiences.
I mean, help me find something in Slack.
All right, at this point, we have to imagine that Slack is pulling in data from Salesforce ecosystem.
The interface is
also
tough.
reconciling that
hard to deal with.
definitions.
But this Makes it a lot simpler. I mean,
combining all the unstructured context it has.
This is the headless part.
And it's pulling me up a QBR summary.
Right, because
I want to take
a lot of people don't want to live in their enterprise applications anymore. They'd rather live in Slack than Salesforce is saying,
analyzing those numbers,
you can live in Slack.
unlocking all the business insights and impact, and putting it together in an executive summary.
There's a lot of value
along
in
with
this kind of
visualization that will just pop up right now that was powered by Tableau.
I know, look, I was using, when I'm putting together my new book, I was using Notebook LM, and I had to go and look into my old books to pull a number of specific
and how
kind of concepts I was looking for, and the way I phrased it. I went to all the books, took a look at them, and in a couple of minutes I had all of it.
Everything that you've seen so far.
It was incredibly effective rather than me having to pour through thousands of pages.
All of them are powered by Anthropic Claude Opus models. Now, honestly, that's not the part that matters. The part that matters is it is all embedded in the products you all use and trust. And it is powered by the Salesforce platform and Salesforce trust layer, which means we guarantee zero data retention. There is governance, and it is all safe by default. And if you have Salesforce core products, you have Coworker. If you have Slack, you have Slack bots. So go turn them on today and go be a marketing maker in action. And with that, thank you. I want to bring up our next speaker, Leandro Perez, who is the CMO of Salesforce Australia and New Zealand. He's going to talk to us about self-optimizing campaigns. All yours, Leandro.
Another round of applause for Jen Arney.
You have to have a good Australian voice in all these keynotes so far I've been to.
All right. G'day,
here we are.
Chicago.
Here's the Australian voice.
Hoodies. I love it. I love it.
I like Australia.
As Jen Arney mentioned, in my role, I get to lead an incredibly talented group of marketers.
He needs to say
launching hundreds of campaigns every single year. So
and Aaron Donald is coming
close to my heart.
That's right. Aaron Donald out of retirement.
CMOs and marketing practitioners every
day.
Two
themes that we're pulling from this.
They've been having a similar conversation, which is they're being asked to deliver more than ever before. The world is changing, right? It's changing fast. They're being asked to launch new campaigns, engage new audiences, crack open new markets. And as Patrick mentioned, we've got no shortage of ideas. Have you guys got shortage of ideas? No, right? Like we've got plenty of ideas. But the reality is launching those ideas from idea stage into reality takes months. In fact, when you dig under the covers, the reality is it's taking 12 to 14 weeks for an average campaign, over 100 touch points across all the individuals that are touching that campaign. Why is that? Why is that happening? Well, the reality is the stakes are high, like Patrick mentioned. Very high, in fact. Careers on the line, a lot of resources, CFOs or COFOs looking after the ROI, right? And so what's happening is that marketers are pulling in a lot of people to ensure they get it right.
I think people think they don't have much of an option on that one.
You bring in a data analyst. You want to launch on a paid campaign or a website, you're going to bring in the channel experts, maybe even an agency.
The question is if they charge for it or not.
It's a lot. And that's why we ended up with this.
Yeah, and
but we know there's a better way.
It shouldn't be a very hard question to answer.
And that's why I'm so excited to announce
it is for
two new agents. The Agentforce Marketing Goals Agent, which is going to let you build, execute, and my favorite, optimize campaigns once they're launched.
It's interesting. Typically, the companies that aren't charging let you know that. The companies that are don't say a word about it.
Every channel all at once.
It's easier to answer when you aren't charged.
Right.
This is going to completely change how we launch campaigns. It's going to enable us to become marketing makers working alongside agents.
Salesforce did make an oblique reference to
we have an incredible customer called Formula One. Probably heard
at one point earlier today.
They are doing amazing things. In fact, they've been doing so well that they have close to 1 billion fans. That's right, with a B. I'm going to do a little test here. Who is a fan of Formula One? If you're able to, raise your hand. I know a few of you have watched Drive to Survive on Netflix. Have you, Patrick? Yes? Wow, it's a lot of us. Now, let me know,
what if like two people had raised their hand? Would you have said, wow, that's a lot of us?
Their fans have actually been to a race. That smells like opportunity, right? Well, that's what the Formula One marketing team wants to do. They want to launch campaigns to engage with these audience, to monetize them, right? They want to get them to a race. They want to sell merchandise or their premium subscription offering, F1 TV. And that's what we're going to show. But before we do that, I know a few of you are thinking, come on, Leandro, that's a big brand. That's not going to resonate with how we run
I know, me too. Give me a break.
We've got 1,000 employees worldwide, and the marketing team's under 100. So while not small, when you think about their scale, that's lean. So we're going to showcase a visionary demo of how they're dramatically changing how they launch campaigns. Now, to help me do that,
Yeah,
I
I was thinking the same
the demo
thing.
drivers, and no
Does that
pun intended
resonate?
here.
Will
They're
this
going to drive
resonate
the
with
demo. Let's give a round of
smaller
applause to
enterprises?
Ashley and Abby. All right.
Ooh, look at that.
Well, it's also
Jacket.
interesting too because obviously
Now, folks, bear
Oracle and
with me.
Oracle Red Bull Racing.
I always wanted to be a Formula One driver, and this is the closest I'm going to get to it. So give me a moment here. There's 4,000 people watching me put on a suit, jacket.
Ariel Gelman leaves leftovers wherever he goes.
Good time to see product placement. You seeing the F1 on the
Oracle's always had a penchant for
Let's do
sports.
this. We're going to start off
Stuff like America's
in
Cup.
Slack. Oh, another round of applause. Okay, sure. Does it look all right? Thanks, Mum. Okay, so we're going to kick this off, this visionary demonstration right here in Slack. Now, like most organizations, they plan in quarters. They plan in advance, right? This is how all of the marketing team aligns with their stakeholders across those 1,000 employees, right? The races they've kind of come up, the audiences, you know, the on-brand messages, the assets. That's how they align all of that. But I know, you know, that quarterly plans don't age well, right? In fact, Formula One has 24 races throughout the year. Every 2 weeks, they have a new race. This team has to be agile. They have to move. They've got to pivot. And here what you're seeing is that Ashley, as a campaign marketer at Formula One, has been given the task of launching the British Grand Prix. But she's been given one extra task, which is, can you help increase Formula One TV subscriptions? They've been a little bit soft from her leader.
Interesting.
Right, so what she's going to do here is do this in Slack, but this is in
Yeah,
the
this is
past.
gonna be
I'm
really
just gonna echo the
interesting
pain.
moving forward
In
to
the
see
past, she would have spun up a whole
how
host of meetings,
Slack ends up competing
right, to
with
sync with all those folks. Maybe create some tickets to pull some data, like Shanani mentioned. That's a lot of work, but that is in the past. Now, all she needs to do is mention the new goals agent. Now, before we jump in, I'm just highlighting, we're doing this in Slack, but thanks to Headless 360, like Patrick mentioned, you can do this in Teams or your favorite coding agent, Claude. All right, all she needs to do is give the goals agent the task. Here's the brief, here's the audience I want to target, North America and Western Europe, thanks to time zones, and also give it the budget, and we're off to the races. Now look at this. Agents come back and said, hey, Ash, do you want to include Australia? Like last time, and look at that beautiful Tableau viz right there in Slack. Last time, they had a 3 times higher baseline than the average audience. She completely missed this. Now, I know why. We had Oscar Piastri, our homegrown hero in there. We woke up in the night to watch him. Unfortunately, he lost to Lando, his teammate, but hopefully this year he'll have a better chance. But that's an amazing capability there, and she got that instantly. All right, she says, that sounds great. Let's keep going. Now, let's see what the agent comes back with now. All right, so normally forecasting is hard. Here, the agent has recommended 10.3% uplift to subscriber campaign. She's down. That sounds amazing. Let's do that. So let's go ahead. All right, so the agent now is creating the campaign. So what does that mean? It's going off to the Formula One CDP, right, which is grounded on all of F1's data, Data 360. So it's pulling in historical campaigns, it's building the journeys, the SMSs, the emails, based on the engagement rates of those fans in the past. It's doing a lot of work that historically would have taken days. And just like that, the first object there, the campaign object, is done. This is now the single source of truth for that campaign. Now, again, as mentioned, this is a high-stakes game, so she wants to check in with her manager, and she uses the Slack workflow right there to send it. Now, her manager says, it looks great. Okay, amazing, let's keep going. So Ashley now wants to pull in her creative lead, Hannah, to keep working with this and bring in all the assets. Now, she doesn't have to have another sync, because she can do that right here and pass that along. And Hannah's going to be able to work in the second new agent that I mentioned, the content agent. But no briefing is required because all of that information is maintained in that object. So let's go ahead and take a look at the content agent here. Now, this is a brand new interface. It's really cool. And what, as I mentioned, all that history comes across in the campaign object. Because she's used the brand before, now all of that's loaded. So everything that will be generated will be on brand. So all she needs to do is ask, hey, create the content for the British Grand Prix, and let's go. Now, I don't know how many of you are creative folks, like literally hands-on tools, but this in the past would have been a lot of manual plumbing, right? Copying and pasting into SMSs, email, resizing images. I'm sure no one woke up in the morning and wanted to do this work, right? So the content agent has actually done all of this, and it looks beautiful. So what Hannah can focus on, I think I heard a clap over there, that's incredible. So I think, yes, wow, incredible, I love it. So what's happening here is Hannah can
was this marketing cloud that we're looking at?
What's really important. tweak those hooks to engage the audience. Maybe bring in an image of Oscar or her favorite driver that's been winning throughout the race. And incredible. Now, she wants to do one more thing, which is actually asked her to add, this is the curveball, add a discount offer for anyone that has previously subscribed and lapsed because they had quality issues with the stream. So all she needs to do is ask the agent, and it's going to do that. Now, I'm going to pause here because this is pretty cool. What's happening here is the agent's gone to the CDP, worked out who has signed up, who's raised a ticket through customer support, and then who's lapsed, and they're in that audience segment. That's a lot, right? I know some of you are thinking, well, surely you can do this on ChatGPT or another creative studio. You can't, because it's not grounded in all of Formula One's data. It's truly incredible. All right, with that, we're going to go past to Ash. Let's go. Okay, this campaign's ready to go, right? But the humans are always in control. So she wants to make a few last-minute touches. She's going to turn on WhatsApp because she's heard it's done really well in Europe. But remember, her name's on the line. She's got budget that she wants to ensure is deployed. So she's going to set a threshold. If the click-through rate is under 3%, let's pause the campaign so I can come in and check on it. Okay. Once again, this campaign's ready to go. But I mentioned in the beginning, the agent doesn't just build and execute. It optimizes. So this is where Ash can set the guardrails. Is she comfortable with the agent updating the audience, the content, the channels? She's comfortable with all of it, but because budget's involved, she doesn't want the agent mucking around with the channels. So let's turn that off. All right, just like that, we're ready to rock. Let's activate the campaign. We'll bring a little bit of energy here, right? It's Formula One, after all. Okay.
By the way, that little bit where you turn the channel off, that's really pretty cool because that's what I call granular autonomy, which gives customers the control over
that's going to take
just
time.
how much actions they want an agent
here,
to
that
take.
agent
So
been working
while they kind of glossed
24/7
over
behind
that,
the
it's
scenes.
actually really
In fact,
important.
let's look at that. Wow, we've got a notification from the
So
goals
far,
agent
this
saying
actually
almost
is
90% of the way to goal.
This
but it's
is
bumped into one of those
presuming
guardrails.
this is
It's saying
as close as we're going to get to
SMS,
actual
go all
case
in on
study.
WhatsApp,
This
we're
is
going to hit the goal.
this is actually
So she
a very
says, that sounds
decent
like a great idea.
demo.
Let's do that.
I'm more than decent. It's
With
really
that,
good.
folks,
What they've got
I
here
just wanted
is
to highlight that's the end of my lap
if
with the
it's
Formula
real,
One
it's
marketing
top
team. I
flight.
know it was great with the jacket and all, but you know, it's Formula One. I had to go fast. But what I really want to emphasize is a couple of things. Firstly, everything that you saw here today is generally available except for the agents, but they're in pilot right now. So if you want to get your phone out and scan that QR code, if you're interested in joining the pilot, you can do that. But I just want to ground us back on what we just saw because it's pretty game-changing, right? We just enabled the Formula One marketing team and now all of you to dramatically change how you're going to launch campaigns. And as Patrick mentions, this is going to allow you to experiment more often, lower the risk, right? Which is going to bring us back to being creative.
GA now versus
what
GA
I know
June.
you all
We're in
want
June.
to do.
Yeah, we're in June.
Now, I've got one more really cool announcement
not yet,
that I want to make before
but
I
GA
leave
June.
today.
right. This later this
Which
month.
is earlier in the week, we signed a
We
definitive
still have
agreement to acquire
28 days.
Here we go.
Yes, let's give that a round of applause.
There's the mention.
Now, some of you may not know what Contentful is, so let me just give you a quick beat. They are the leading composable content management platform and headless CMS. That's a mouthful, right? So let me just quickly unpack what that means. So basically, if you think about
Thought they had
assets,
moved. They called
headlines,
themselves a
content,
digital experience
images,
platform.
historically
They
they're
have.
locked in a container, a
But
web page,
I guess
blog,
they're
or a
not
mobile
being
app.
bought for that.
Now, marketers are going to be able to change these things, the assets, what we care
Why
about.
is the song "Some
without
Heads Are Gonna
any
Roll" by
IP
Judas
or
Priest going through my
gatekeepers.
head?
So now they're going to be able to scale all their creativity, really make them makers, as Patrick introduced,
All right, you'll have
at
another thing
scale.
coming from
So
that.
with that, I'm going to introduce the next speaker, which is going to take us through the third chapter, building autonomous pipe jam. And I can think of no one better to do this than the CMO of Qualified, Maura Rivera. Let's give it up for Maura.
Okay. Thank you, Leandro. Vroom, vroom. Let's go. I know we're at the end, but we have a lot of innovation to show you guys.
Vroom, vroom.
raise
Could I
your
use a
hand
little?
if you're a B2B marketer.
I wonder if they rehearsed that.
Okay. Now keep your hand
I'm
raised
sure
if
they
you
did.
ever said,
I know.
I have too much pipeline.
I once was sat in on an
No
IBM
B2B marketer
rehearsal of
ever
an
feels
executive.
like they have too much
He
pipeline,
didn't know I
and we
was
all
there.
feel this pain.
And he literally
We're doing
has
all of
part of
these
his
things
rehearsal was,
designed to drive inbound interest. We're
I
doing
just
events
thought
like
of something.
Connections. We're doing campaigns
literally,
like that
that was
F1
part of the
campaign we just
rehearsal.
saw. But we can't get
I
buyers
predicted
into
it the
our
next
pipeline
day.
fast enough. And why is that? We have these old processes. We're reliant on humans to follow up. It's simply a broken process. But in this age of the marketing maker that we're talking about, where we have agents who work for us, there has to be a new way to generate pipeline. And that's where Qualified comes in. So Qualified is the newest addition to the Salesforce portfolio. We are so excited to be here with you guys today. We have a ton of customers in the room, and we're designed to help B2B marketers generate pipeline in an entirely new way. And our product is Piper. We named her Piper because she generates pipeline, and she is an AI SDR agent who goes to work for you as the marketer. Now, when you think about Piper, think about her like your best human SDR. She's fast, she's personable, she's responsive, she's on message, and Piper goes across the channels that matter to you as a marketer. She works on the corporate website, she works in the email inbox, and she is on a mission to generate pipeline. And I know what you're thinking, like, Maura, okay, this sounds great, this sounds great, this sounds like a vision. We heard from Patrick that Salesforce.com is doing it. We have over 700 customers today, and 100% of our customers are live in production. Every single customer who buys Qualified goes live within 45 days. This is really like an easy button to get started with agentic marketing. I talk to CMOs all the time. I want to transform my organization, but where do I begin? You start at the front door of your company. Start on your website. Have an agent who's there to greet all of your buyers. One of our incredible customers, along the likes of customers like Okta and Box and Cloudflare and all these incredible enterprises, is Adecco. Now, Adecco is the world's largest staffing and recruiting company, and they have a really big B2B arm. So they have employers, and they go to the Adecco website, and they're trying to figure out, how can I grow my workforce with Adecco? I want to use their recruiting services, their staffing services, and Adecco is using an AI SDR agent to bring those buyers into their pipeline. Now, the cool thing is, I mentioned Piper, our girl. We called her Piper because she generates pipeline, but all of our customers, they personify their agent to best match their brand. So Adecco actually named their agent Echo. And today we're going to show you a live product demo and show you Echo go to work. We're going to show you how she goes to work on the website across every modality, text, voice, video. This is the future of how you engage buyers. We're going to show you how Echo can follow up with leads right in the email inbox and book meetings and generate pipeline 24/7. Then we're going to zoom out and we're going to show you how you as a marketer can keep a real-time pulse on this agent's performance. So who wants to see a demo? I would love to introduce Katie O'Neill.
Wow,
Katie
she didn't even give him a chance to do nothing.
She advises, she advises customers like Adecco every single day on their agentic strategy. So Katie, let's show the demo.
Thank you, Maura. And that wasn't loud enough. Are you guys excited to see a live Qualified demo? All right, so for this demo, we're going to follow the journey of an inbound buyer. Her name is Maya Ray. She is the Director of Workforce Strategy at Vantage Clinical Solutions, and she's in the market for a staffing and workforce solution. So she's naturally on the Adecco website. Now, when she arrives, look at this. This is Echo, Adecco's AI SDR agent. She's ever present. She's always there. She's greeting Maya, ready to work her and convert her into pipeline. Now, the moment Maya arrived on the website, Echo went to work immediately. She went into all of her go-to-market systems, including Salesforce, to identify any information she has about this inbound buyer. For now, she doesn't know it's Maya, but she does know it's someone from Vantage Clinical Solutions. So she's going to work to qualify this buyer and get Maya into her pipeline. So as Maya is scrolling around on the website, Echo can see what Maya can see, and she can even take her places around the site. So we'll jump in and see that in action. Now, if Maya has a question, of course she could type via text to Echo. That's table stakes. But the future of agent interactions, like Maura mentioned, it's voice and video. So when Maya's ready, she can click to speak with Echo.
You're right about that.
Hi, how can I help you?
Hey, Echo, I need to scale a team of clinical trial coordinators for a study we're launching in Q3. Now, we've used staffing firms in the past. What makes Adecco uniquely different?
Let's take a look at our Adecco Advantage slide. It highlights 8 key strengths: global scale, end-to-end solutions, digital innovation, specialized talent, future-ready upskilling, cost optimization, robust compliance, and social impact. What's the biggest priority for your team in this clinical trial project?
Okay, how cool is that? Just like your best human SDR, Echo has all of this great content at her fingertips. She can navigate Maya to a different page on the website. She can show her a live slide right here on the website. This is a really incredible experience for any buyer. So what I want to do is I actually want to throw Echo a quick curveball. Now, Adecco, they're a global brand. They have a huge footprint in France, and so it's really important that their agent can engage with any buyer in any language. So let's throw Echo a quick curveball and see how she handles it. Echo, parlez-vous français?
Bien sûr, je peux parler français. Dites-moi simplement ce dont vous avez besoin pour ce projet et je suis là pour vous aider. Quel est l'aspect le plus important à gérer pour vous en ce moment?
Okay, total dream SDR behavior. That's amazing. Echo speaks every single language. I want to repeat that. Echo speaks every single language, so she can detect that language.
We'll have Sven check that out.
No other human SDR can do that. So again, for Adecco as a global brand, really, really important. Okay, now we'll jump back over into the conversation
Does
with
he
Echo.
speak Maori?
Hey, Echo, super cool. Let's stick to English for now, but can you tell me a little bit more about pricing?
Like any good BDR,
Pricing depends a lot on each customer's unique situation. I can send you more details by email. What's the best email to use? You can also type it into the chat for accuracy.
Now, Echo knows a question around pricing indicates high intent, and so she's going to work to qualify this buyer. She's asking for the email address. Now, in this case, maybe Maya actually wants to get ready and book a meeting with her account executive. Hey, Echo, could I actually book a meeting?
We're almost there. Let's get your details first. Could you share your email address so we can move forward?
So once again, she needs to make sure I'm qualified, and so Maya can provide her email address right here to Echo within the conversation.
Let's go ahead and book a meeting with one of our representatives. Feel free to choose a time that works best for you,
I
and
wonder
we'll
what
take
she
it from
says
there.
if they
So what
they
we just
don't
saw Echo do.
qualify them.
Echo took
How does
Maya's
she
email
handle
address.
that?
She looked inside Salesforce. She found the Vantage Clinical Solutions account and saw that Sam Raskin is the enterprise account executive aligned to that account. So she presented Maya with this calendar booker right here on the website. Now I want to pause. This is a pivotal moment. This room is full of marketers. This is a dream scenario. You hope this buyer books this meeting. We also all know buyers, and oftentimes buyers are busy. And in fact, many might leave the website without converting. So Maura, as a CMO, you have felt this pain. What happens if Maya leaves the website without converting into a meeting?
Yes, this hurts my heart. And I know we all know this pain, right? We're doing all of this stuff. We get this buyer on the hook, but we can't quite get them converted. And let's look at the old way that we would follow up with these buyers. We would put them in a lead queue. A human would follow up with them hours, if not days later. On average, it takes B2B companies 42 hours to follow up with an inbound lead. At that point, Maya's gone. She's on with her day. She's connected with another vendor. You just lost that opportunity. But in this age of AI and the age of the marketing maker, there has to be a better way. And it's really critical that these agents are not just working on the website, but the same agents working in the email inbox so they can do that immediate follow-up. So Katie, show us what that looks like.
Yeah, let's jump right into Maya's email inbox. And what you can see is Echo is right there. Look at that email right away. She's on this mission to get Maya into pipeline. So we can see is, I want to look at this email carefully. This is not pre-canned. This is not templated. This is entirely bespoke to the conversation they had live on the website. Echo is referencing those key discussion points. Echo's also surfacing up additional content to pull Maya down the funnel. Now, many buyers, they might reply. Maya might have a few more questions for Echo before she's ready to continue. Echo is fully multi-turn in the email inbox. And so we'll see is Echo can reply right here in the inbox to Maya. Now, what we can see is Echo's training starts to come in place. She again knows she can't give out that specific pricing detail, so she's going to provide Sam Raskin's calendar here. So in just a few clicks, Echo makes it really easy for Maya to book this time.
So I really like this use case.
Amazing.
The only thing
So
I
we got
would
that meeting on the
say
calendar.
is
Pipeline
I would also
has
want
been
the
generated.
agent to
Echo
have the
just generated
capability
pipeline for
to
Adecco
identify the highest
completely
caliber leads
So,
and
Maura, if
direct
we
those
quickly
to
recap
my
what we just saw
human
with Echo,
salespeople
Echo engages with
immediately,
the website.
Yep.
She answered
as
technical
opposed to
questions.
trying to
She
handle
replied on
all
the
the leads
website,
as if they're
qualified and converted
equal
this buyer.
on
The
their own.
best part is
Yep.
everything
And,
Echo
and
did with
agents
this
should be
single
pretty good
buyer,
at
she did for
calibrating
tens of
leads, so I
thousands
think
of
that's a
buyers all
doable
at
thing.
once.
Awesome, Katie. I want to talk about configuration because this is the dream, right? This is the dream
But
experience.
Keith's comment in the chat, I think, is
What's
correct.
going through, I'm sure, all of your heads right now is like, okay, how easy is this to set up? I said 45 days. Do I have to use IT resources, engineering resources? In this new world, the marketer needs to be in control. That's critical. We're control freaks as marketers. We've got to be able to control this agent
Those
and manage this
guardrails are
agent.
really
So, Katie, show us what the back end looks
Oh,
like.
here are the guardrails.
Let's jump into the qualified studio. So here in the background of the Qualified Studio, this is where you onboard and enable your agents. So what you can see is you can actually give it a personal name. You can even customize the avatar. You can even customize the voice. We want to make sure this is really authentically on brand. Now, jumping over into guides, this is where we want to give the agent some information on your company, key messaging, make sure that they're accurate when they're answering questions. Now, I'm going to click into conversations, and this is my favorite part, and here's why. Marketers are back in control. This is where marketers define what the agent does. When does the agent qualify a buyer? When does the agent serve up content? When does the agent book a meeting? And look at this. This is all natural language, no coding required. This is that simple. This is why our customers are going live on average in 45 days. So Maura, super excited for our customers to get our hands on this.
Super excited. But you know what matters more than configuration? Back to the original question, it's pipeline. So when I think about putting these agents into production, it's really critical that I can see that they're generating pipeline for me. When I go to my board meeting every single quarter, that's the metric that I have to report on. And in the old world, I would have to ask my marketing operations person, can you build a report, a dashboard? But in this new world with Slack, I can just go in and I can ask Slackbot. And I could say, hey, how am I tracking against my inbound pipe gen target for the quarter? And what Slackbot's doing, it's pulling all of my structured CRM data, all of my Tableau analytics, and check this out. I have this information at my fingertips. I can see I'm tracking really well against my target of $41 million. I can see that Echo, my AI SDR agent,
So Slackbot's becoming a prompt-driven user interface, basically, for Gen AI?
That I close this gap. So this is really what the future of Pipeline looks like. And we saw a ton of stuff in this demo. Thank you, Katie, for the incredible demo.
I don't know if it's that, but it definitely feels like
so today we looked at Piper, the AI SDR agent. It's all GA right now.
All the interactions
and we'd love to invite you guys to head over to the campground.
The reason I'm asking, though,
Piper
is
in action. You can
that
talk with her.
particular
You can also
example
see our new
didn't need
prospect
Slack,
agent Hunter to see
particularly.
really what the future of PipeGen looks like.
It was just a place to type in to get a response. So it's running through the front end of Slack, at least.
Yeah, I guess people spend a lot more time in Slack generally
get you out of here
as
in a
part of
second,
their
but first of all,
job.
thank
So
you again to Maura,
maybe it's
to
just
Katie,
driving
to
a lot of it
Leandro, our F1 driver, to
through
Genevieve, to all of our
Slack
demo drivers. Thanks
because
so
all
much.
the
I
other
think
interactions take place there too.
that was a lot of fun. I want to leave you with 3 things to do as you leave here today to think about. Number 1 is, Genevieve said it, you have it. You have Agentforce Coworker, you have Slackbot. Most likely, if you don't, come and talk to us. But if you've got any Salesforce products or Slack, you have these tools. Go turn them on today. They can help you become a marketing maker. 2, start using Agentforce Marketing. A lot of the technology that you saw today is in Agentforce technology, is in Agentforce Marketing. And 3, get qualified on your website. Hopefully, we made that entirely clear. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it Piper. You can call it Echo, although a Deco might be Matt. Call it Patrick if you want to. That'll be fine. Whatever you want.
Call it Jalen.
I think is actually one of the best events that we have put together in a long time. We've got 2 days here with you today. We've got a bajillion sessions that you can go and speak. We've got the freaking Smashing Pumpkins, which is going to be awesome.
What?
If you're about the same age as me, you were kind of at the peak of puberty in your parents' house, sliding Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
Are you going to go?
It was awesome. We've got Foster the People. We've got the OG herself, Martha Stewart, and we've got one of the most creative and insane people on the planet, Alex Honnold. That's going to be awesome tomorrow.
I haven't ruled out going.
So, an amazing event. Hopefully you all had fun. We'll see you around through the rest of the week. On your way out, I have one ask, which is scan this QR code. We're going to leave it up. Scan it. Give us feedback. We take the feedback really seriously. We're always trying to get better. So have an amazing week, and thank you so much.
All right.
They actually kept it to about an hour.
Yeah, they kept it pretty close to on time. All right. So before we bring in our guests, why don't we each go? Do you want me to pull up the slides so that you can see if they were addressed?
I can tell you none of mine were. So it doesn't matter, though. I'll be last, but I don't know. If you guys want your slides up, I don't need mine.
I don't need my slides up.
So, all right, Brohammer, why don't you lead us off?
Okay. Well, look, I think they did knock off some key points in this, and this notion of the marketing maker, I think, is kind of a nice vision, because I think the idea of freeing marketers up to quote unquote build things I think that kind of resonates. And so I like the overall like messaging. Now, there's some things that I would have really liked to see in this keynote. And I can tell you the three big things are customer. In other words, I would have wanted to see one of those customers really talking about their experience honestly, including what the challenges were and the rough edges, because agents have rough edges. And I don't know why vendors try to hide this, because it builds trust when you acknowledge it. So there's that. The second is community. We're here because it's a community. That's why people come to this event. And buyers also love communities. So it's not just a mechanistic process. It's about bringing buyers into a community and into an ecosystem. And finally, creativity. These systems have been trained on the work of so many creative people that are now struggling to find work or struggling to stay attached to the gig economy. Instead of telling marketers you can create everything on your own, why not tell marketers, go out and hire some of these creative, truly creative people that are looking for work and really want to make a contribution in a meaningful way, and tap into the human creativity instead of thinking that you can do it all on your own. So that's what I would say around creativity.
Cool. Rebecca.
Yeah, I go back to the points on the slide about real results and value, and I think we heard more about ROI than I've heard from Connections in the past, which I think is great. I think a lot of what we're seeing with Qualified is super, super interesting, but it has to be part of an overall organic process. And I wonder if with things like Qualified, how that bridges the gap between sort of marketing qualified lead and sales qualified lead, and that friction that's always been there, right? Do I want marketers deciding what an SDR is doing from an agent perspective, or is this a way to kind of bring sales and marketing closer together?
The venerable one.
Well, to both John and Rebecca's points, I can only plus one, really. I mean, the reality is, one of the things, if you remember on my slide, was the fact that sales and marketing alignment have been an important piece of literally every significant business for a long time now, or at least an important aspiration if they don't have it. And was that genuinely addressed? Not really. On the other hand, I will give them some real credit. Okay, so the negative is that wasn't addressed. It should have been addressed, and it was implied in certain places, but it wasn't addressed very well. Secondly, I honestly don't think I agree with John in that marketing makers, so to speak, are a good idea. I don't think positioning it as co-creators at any point is right at all. I think that's a misinterpretation, literally, of what agents are to begin with. But again, that's always, an epistemological and existential discussion more than it is a specific one. Secondly, honestly, the reality is, and it goes to John's point, the creators and marketers don't have to be the same people, right? There are people who are qualified in marketing who are not creative, and there are qualified people who are very creative who are not marketers, and it's the cohesiveness and the coherence of the two working together that you accomplish things. And the value of agents is only that it helps you get that cohesiveness, but it helps you. It doesn't make you cohesive. It gives you an opportunity to be cohesive. And you do, and to John's point, hire those creators, man. They're out there, and there's plenty of them. That said, all in all, they made a couple of, I thought, and then again, the last thing is completely ignored governance altogether, but which is fine. I mean, there are lots of implications throughout. Even pricing was implied when they said use some of your credits at one point. So obviously there's some, use-based model in there somehow. But on the whole, I thought both examples were very good, and they actually showed some real power. They finally seem to be coming to at least a pretty good conclusion of what to do with Slack that is actually effective, as opposed to create a place where nobody can find anything after you've had the conversation. Now they're actually utilizing Slack as both, I guess, a front end, and at the same time as a repository and also a conversation collaboration place, which it always has been, right? So they're with the agents, they're actually making Slack into something extremely valuable as opposed to something somewhat difficult, right? And overall, I thought they made a very good case for the technology itself being useful in terms of the things it can actually do, with both Formula One and Adecco as the examples. Again, to John's point, there was no actual customer there, so you're seeing the idealized version. But the interesting thing is, I'm presuming that those customers gave them permission to show what they're actually doing, right? So, right. So there was some real value in that. On the whole, if I was given it a rating of any kind, I'd give it a B, a solid B, because it did make a really good case for the value of Agentforce per se. The overall messaging suffered in a number of places, and I think all three of us outlined that so far. What do you think, Brent?
There's no mention of Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
I actually think it was pretty good overall. And one of the things I noticed right away is people in the audience were really paying attention and were really listening to what was going on with the demo, and with also just kind of the way that they're, I guess, approaching agentic from this marketing perspective. And I like the demo because it actually showed a little bit of the melding between marketing and sales, a little more than I'd seen, in terms of how they with Slack and the kind of the way that companies seem to be collaborating within Slack, and then kind of melding that in from an agentic and a even extending that into the kind of the way that customers and the company communicate. So you can almost see a line in between how they're using these things, not only to effectively deal with the customers more, but also deal with each other. And how, I think, Paul, like you were saying, the alignment between sales and marketing, there's some really good demos of how you could potentially see that happening, and then the impact that has on the interactions that they'll have with the customers. That was really like the first time I saw that linkage from the sales and marketing customer perspective with the agentic stuff so far. I mean, you see a lot of the service, of course, the conversations, and even the way that they began the keynote with that conversation about Salesforce, using Salesforce, but that was really on a customer service side. I like that we saw marketing and sales and customer, and how agentic, you could see how that could be impacted. So I would give this a pretty high mark because of that. I hadn't seen that. Now, of course, some of the things that I was looking for weren't there, more of the general, how do we address the anxiety, AI anxiety that's taken place and that's hit the enterprise software market. I didn't really see a direct connection between what we saw and how that addresses that. I would have liked to have seen that a little bit more concrete. But overall, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, one last thing, I guess, that I should have mentioned, which is in the very beginning, I actually was happy to see them lead with philanthropy again. I mean, it's just been a long time since they've done that.
It's true.
And to me, that's always been a fundamental hallmark of the company, has been that. And they utilize that to kick off kind of the historic evolution. So there was, ultimately, they were trying to create an overarching and continuous and let's say, relatively friction-free transition to where they are now by going through the history and by identifying philanthropy and those are big trigger points with Salesforce. They're important, and they did a good job of that. I really think Patrick Stokes did a good job. He really did. Overall, he just did a very good job. I think I met him once a long time ago, but I don't even remember where.
He had longer hair back there.
Yeah. Well, right now he's got kind of a full hair mohawk. It's kind of weird, right? It was an unusual hairstyle. Right?
You're gonna make it hard for me to segue over to our guests. We're gonna go from mohawks and faux hawks to Marty Kine. So I'm gonna ask him to walk over here. I don't know how we do that segue other than just sit down. We're gonna let you use this camera, and if I have to hold it, I will.
Am I audible?
Yes, you. Well,
yeah,
I'm going to give. Can you hear him okay with?
Hello.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
Yep.
Although
Okay.
the top of your head is cut off.
There. Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
Okay, there it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Cool. And then I'll put myself back in it. Look at that.
Ooh,
I don't know if you
beautiful.
see how we look in this room. It doesn't quite look like we do in this. But anyway, so let's welcome.
Do you get to keep the plants?
Yeah, and there's some nice silver. I don't know what those things are. Vases, maybe. I don't know. But so, Marty, thanks for taking time to do this.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's good to be with the players again. Yeah.
Now, I think we're gonna have to do something because you can't hear them because right now I'm wearing this. So, okay? So I should be able to go back to make my audio speakers. Okay, guys, you can still hear us, right?
Yeah. Marty, say something.
Hello, I'm Marty.
All right.
And you can obviously hear us.
We dared the echo gods and we won. Let's see how that goes.
Okay, so like I said, thanks for joining us. We saw you coming in and out. We were thinking, is he going to try to like intimidate us not to say anything negative? He didn't do any of that. He just. All right. So before I open up to the folks, what did you want customers coming to that keynote? What did you want them to walk away with?
I think just the pace of innovation. I think this keynote felt different, and like you said, people were paying attention more than usual and very engaged. I think it's because some of this stuff is genuinely new. You know, Piper, the SDR agent, we have Hunter agent coming. There's this whole marketing. They used to call it marketing experts, agent marketing outcomes, and the content piece as well is that's genuinely new in the context of a marketing cloud, Connections keynote. So I think, the fact that we're taking this seriously, Salesforce, the agentic enterprise is real, and we are making acquisitions, building what needs to be built to make it work for customers, and not just in sales and service, our core CRM, but also in marketing, which is a little harder.
I'll open it up. Anybody want to start firing some questions? Let her rip.
Well, actually, this is just more to get a little more extension, I think. So typically, in the beginning of Connections, they mentioned marketing and commerce. There wasn't a whole lot of conversation about commerce at all. I'm kind of curious as to where does what we saw today and how does commerce play any role in that at all?
Yeah, it's a good question. They left out some things. I was a bit surprised. This used to be a joint event, by the way, as you know, marketing and commerce.
Right.
And then they split it off. So we've ever since that happened, we don't talk about commerce as much. I think that they had limited time. They didn't really talk about Data 360 and the CDP and kind of innovations on that end. Or the next generation marketing cloud, which is a big topic. So they were really trying to hit on this, the agentic future and the development. And I think on the commerce side, we're seeing some innovation in Commerce Cloud. I think that the point of integration, we're trying to have customer experience from end to end, from marketing through service, through sales, commerce, and loyalty. The point of integration that we're focused on is marketing and service for B2C, and marketing and sales on the B2B side, and that's getting more real as well. These agentic platforms are enabling that in a way that wasn't possible.
So I have a question. I'm kind of like a very tough grader when it comes to keynotes, and I'm totally aware of how hard keynotes are. And I thought actually it was a very good keynote. And one of the things I thought it did that a lot of enterprise keynotes haven't succeeded in this year is I think it created an energizing experience for the attendees in terms of the sort of marketing maker type scenario. I think that's energizing, and having somewhere to go is important because Brent referred to some of the fears people are grappling with as well. And I think when you have a positive direction, that can really help you to start addressing your concerns. So I thought you really nailed that in the keynote. My question though is around the other part is customers also want to know kind of how to get there. What does success look like? What are the challenges along the way? And you have customers that have in Salesforce that have done a lot with his technology. We didn't really hear that in the keynote. So for those who aren't here, if you're on the ground, you can start going to some sessions and learning.
Yeah.
But if you're not on the ground, how would a customer go about learning more about the journeys and all of the rough edges around those journeys?
Yeah, I think you mean in terms of enabling themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Like kind of learning from those that have kind of taken the early adopter route and have kind of experienced success along the way. How do they start getting a handle on what that looks like?
Yeah, we try to, there's some avenues for that. Most of the customer meetings I have, they're asking this question, who's doing it well? That's like the number one question.
Yeah.
And they want almost a template or a playbook.
Right.
And it varies, but we try to highlight, like the customers that we highlight are probably the more advanced, like Formula One, in terms of the breadth of their relationship with Salesforce. And then we used to talk about Pandora quite a bit, and they also were very early in the agent space, remarkable as well on the customer service agent side. So I think that the highlight stories are picked for a reason. It's just to give people something to aspire to. We also have a lot of customers here at the event. So like you said, if you're on the ground here, there's opportunities to learn, and then through the customer success, to the AEs and the customer success, people ask all the time, can you give us case studies, and we do that frequently. So we have named customers that we can talk about, and then other ones who are anonymous, but there's quite a few.
Okay, this is
one thing I liked about, by the way, the keynote was, and this relates to what you were saying, Rebecca, was it was more focused on outcomes. Like it felt, if I were a marketer in the audience, I would like the idea they were talking about SDRs and marketing qualified leads, sales qualified leads. That feels very practical. And the idea of like, oh, I'm actually doing analytics with natural language, and I'm pulling from multiple data sources. That used to be my job. I did measurement, and it was very manual and extremely tedious. So to make that easier is truly exciting, I think, for the internal operations of marketing. So these things just felt, usually we'll talk about a feature or something, it kind of, sometimes it's hard to relate to, hard to tie to the business. But in this case, it was more tied, I think.
I mean, to your point, I think that was the strength of it, was that, yeah, really, it was very powerful in saying, well, these are actual outcomes that are useful to most people who are involved in particularly B2B, but also B2C world. I mean, one of the things that I know that I think all three of us were looking for, or all four of us were probably looking for a little more of, really was because you talked about in the very beginning words you spoke just now, which was we were looking more to hear more about in the world of agentic AI, the alignment of sales and marketing explicitly. I mean, you guys originally, if you remember, and I know you do, is one of the earlier Connections conferences was, you talked about, what was it called? Sales Cloud Engage, right? Engage. It was the wrong name, but it was, the idea was right, which was the sales and marketing alignment, and some of that was focused on permissions and things like that. But it was really important because it was a preliminary product. It was the first of its kind, and it's something that all sales and marketing pretty much need, especially when you're in an enterprise at this point. And I think most companies are aware of. We didn't hear a whole lot about it explicitly, but it was kind of implied here and there. Can you elaborate a bit more on that and how you're actually doing that with, agentic agent force marketing and I guess agent force sales or sales cloud?
Well, one thing, it was easy to not notice, but we usually don't talk about sales at Connections.
I know.
Sales is a different cloud, and they have their own event you might have heard of called Dreamforce. But I think the fact that we were talking about, qualified's all over this. Right. The guy, the founder was, walking around, and the whole team, and people are even mentioning the name of this acquired company is unusual. It's like, oh, we're qualified. I think it's just because it works so well, and also it was so quick to implement. So that's Piper, and then there's this Hunter agent that's coming. So I think the fact that we're talking about sales is positive in the context of marketing. These are products that are folded under the marketing umbrella, and they will ultimately help, because they're they're pulling in people. They're automating the kind of the both the hunt. It'll be the hunting process and then also the lead nurturing process, which is something I guess sales or that would be marketing B2B. Their responsibility is automating that, making that easier, and then just improving the general quality of what's handed to the sales team. I think the main point of friction between sales and marketing has always been, these leads are no good, whatever. That was just, everybody says that. And the other thing is when analytics came along, they were like lead scoring. The sales team was very reluctant, as you may remember, because they're like, oh, I know my lead. I know what a good lead is. The lead scoring actually ends up helping because you're actually ranking leads.
Yeah.
So it would be the same with these agents. They're already getting better leads. That's all. At the end of the day, that's all sales wants from marketing is leads.
Yeah. Well, that's maybe we'll have you on the show to talk more about it at some point because there's actually a lot more to it that I'd like to talk about, but there's no time here.
Maybe a quick thought on. I know. I don't know how much you can talk about it, but they did mention it in the keynote with the acquisition of Contentful.
Contentful, yeah.
What's the vision of that?
We're internally very excited. It was just an announcement. It hasn't closed yet, but it was mentioned. I was happy to see that. So it's pretty solid as an acquisition. I think we're excited about it because it shores up an area that was frankly not our best area, which is content management. It's something that, and we did that explicitly over the years. We thought about acquiring CMS or building a CMS or a DAM, but decided not to go there because we had other places that we could win. And so, but this agentic world now, it's kind of real-time decisioning, and then we have the data layer, and we have the agents making orchestration decisions, and then the next obvious step is, well, they then have to pull in the content. They have to pull in the content to deliver it, the personalized experience. Where does the content come from? It probably can't come from a traditional DAM. It would take too long. So that's why Contentful is so exciting. It's and it also fits in with the headless story. It's kind of API first. It's what we would call composable. So I think the integration of it will be faster than your typical. And also I think it adds a genuinely new-ish capability to Salesforce that will really help us deliver these personalized campaigns that we want to deliver.
Nice. Rebecca, anything before we let Marty go?
Marty, what should we look forward to for the rest of the show?
Well, the Smashing Pumpkins are playing, I believe, tonight. So I mentioned that band to a young person today, and they'd never heard of them. So I'm like, oh,
wow.
That hurt a little bit.
Yeah, so that'll be good.
Any thoughts on Aaron Donald coming out of retirement for the Rams? Anything like that?
I don't know. No comment. Knicks in 6. That's all I can say.
There it is.
Knicks in 6.
That sounds like a corporate mandate going on there.
Knicks in 6.
Yeah. Well, Patrick's from New York. I'm from New York.
Knicks in. I'm there, man.
That's right.
This was a guaranteed success the minute Patrick said Knicks in 6.
Guaranteed.
That's why he really liked the keynote. That's the one thing. Okay.
Stood out.
The right team.
Yeah.
Finally.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Marty, thanks again for joining us and adding a little color to the keynote and answering questions. And once again, if you have anything on Aaron Donald, let me know. All right. I think we're done. Any last thoughts before we head out?
No, I'm good. Knicks in 6.
Brohammer, you got anything to add to that?
No, man. I'm gonna hit some sessions and get real. Let's see what happens. I might even build an agent today. I'll get back with you.
Build one that wins it. Knicks in 6.
And on that note, I know we have a little bit of an echo problem when we go to Rebecca, so I'll just say on behalf of Rebecca and Marty and the Brohammer, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Playaz, and I think a little later today, I'm actually going to be doing a few good minutes, maybe, or it might be recorded. We'll figure it out, but I'll let you know. See you at the next keynote. I guess that'll be next week. All right, bye.
Later, y'all.